There, the little red light. It's recording now. Good. Sit down. I'm an old man, and I'm tired in a way that sleep finally fixed, so I'll only say this once. There is a war being fought over you right now. And the first casualty, the very first, was your knowing that it exists. They did this to me for years, decades, and I want you to understand, before you hear another word, they are doing it to you right now. So let me show you the file. You think you know the battlefield. You think the fight is about your behavior, the temper you can't bury, the habit that keeps coming back from the dead, the version of you on Sunday and the one driving home Monday. You think the war is about your sin. Catch it, kill it, confess it, repeat. That entire framing, that is the deception. The war was never about your sin. It is about your identity. He is not mainly trying to make you do bad things. He is trying, with everything a defeated power has left, to keep you from knowing one fact about yourself, that you are a son of God. One fact, suppressed. That's the whole objective.
Let's be precise about our situation, since precision is all we have left. The cross did not wound us, it ended us. The verdict is in, it will not be reopened. We have exactly one move remaining.
And that move, sir?
We lie. We are an army that already lost the war and refuses to leave the field. We do not take ground anymore. We run disinformation. We forge documents. We flood the channel with static so the real signal cannot reach the target. One classified objective. Suppress the fact that the target is a sun. The moment that intel lands, the occupation collapses, so it does not land. Keep him busy, keep him religious, keep him exhausted. An exhausted sun is a harmless sun.
That's the council that met about you, not a power, a propaganda machine. And then the voice changes. It comes in close, like a friend who only ever shows up at night.
You felt that, didn't you? That tiredness sleep won't touch. 20 years of trying and still not quite there. The approval always one obedience away. That's not a war, friend. That's just you. That's just how far you actually are. Keep fighting for it. Keep climbing toward it. Maybe someday you'll finally be one of them.
I believed that voice for most of my life. I was a free son living like a hired hand. A beloved son living like an exile. That's the cost. Not bad behavior. Wasted sonship. Hear me, it's a lie. And there is a way to break it that has nothing to do with trying harder.
You are not fighting for victory. You are standing on one. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
There it is. The frequency he's been jamming your whole life. The Father broadcasting one message into the static, you are mine, and the enemy spending everything he has to keep that single transmission from reaching you. So here's the reassignment, and I want you to make it now. You thought you were drafted as a soldier. You weren't. You are an intelligence analyst. A soldier's job is to take ground. Yours is to see the truth, to look at the noise, the feints, the forged orders, and read what is actually happening. Because you cannot defeat a lie with effort. You can only defeat it by seeing through it. The decisive weapon in this whole war is not what you do, it's what you know. So put down the rifle. Pick up the file. You were never the soldier he needed you to think you were. You're the analyst he's terrified of. Because here is the thing about a war built entirely on deception. It only works as long as you don't read the playbook. You're about to read the playbook. And the war you didn't know you were in is about to become the war you can no longer lose. Before the first arrow ever flew at you, there was a table, not a battlefield, a briefing. They didn't start with a temptation. They started with a calculation. They sat down, and they did the math on your life. Your wiring, your wounds, your theology, the exact frequency of doubt you were most likely to believe. I know, because they ran the same numbers on me. Let me show you the file.
Bring the assessment. The target's a sun. Confirmed at the cross, no appeal. That ground is lost to us permanently. We do not retake it.
Then what is the campaign if the war's already over?
The campaign is that he never finds out. One objective, keep the sun from knowing he is a son. Everything else is logistics. 5 fronts, note them. 1. His picture of the Father. Make the Father cold, disappointed, arms crossed. If he serves a God he secretly fears, he serves us. 2. The timing. Never tell him he won't be a son. Too crude. Tell him someday. Eventually, when he grows enough. Glue the clock's hands forward. Always almost, never already. 3. The ground. We cannot beat him on grace, so move the war to law. Mixture, ideally, a little grace, a little effort. It feels like balance, it functions like quicksand. 4. The commander. Depose love. Install fear. A son who obeys to avoid the hammer is taking orders from us, and he won't even notice the coup. 5. Hand him a system. Rules, rituals, tiers, metrics. A son is unpredictable. A system we can manage. Keep him busy, measurable, and harmless. A son in a system is a son we filed away.
5 separate operations.
No. 1. 5 lies, 1 target, and every one of them is deception, by design. We decided that here, at the table, before he was ever tempted to do a single thing. Begin.
5 fronts. Not one of them a sin. Not one of them a temptation. Every plan aimed at the same place, what you know about who you are. And then they open the channel, and the voice goes straight at you.
You know the Father isn't really pleased with you. Not like that. He tolerates you. He's waiting to see if you'll finally get it together. And you're not a son yet, not all the way. You're close. You're trying. Maybe once you beat that thing, once you feel it, then. So work. Earn it. You're only as loved as today's obedience, only as accepted as your last performance. That's just how it works. Be afraid. Stay afraid. That's what keeps you in line. That's what keeps you religious. That's what keeps you mine.
While you were still a sinner, I sent my son for you. The verdict came down before you cleaned up. Not someday. Now. Now, you are my son. You did not receive a spirit of fear. You received the spirit of my own son. I am for you. Who then is against you?
You hear it? The clock unsticks. The ground comes back to grace. The counterfeit gets out of the chair. 5 lies, and 1 word ends all 5 at once. They built the whole council on deception, and they put deception in the planning chapter on purpose, because the truth, known, would end them. They did this to me for years. They are running it on you right now. So read the file. You can't be conscripted to fight a father who already gave his son for you. Let me show you the cruelest page in the file. Not the page where he beats you. He can't beat you. The page where he keeps you paying. They did this to me for 40 years. Kept me in the field long after the war was over. Weapons dull. Hearts spent. Always behind, never arriving. Sun Tzu's 2nd chapter is about money. He counts the cost of a long campaign and lands 1 sentence on the table like a verdict. There is no instance of a country having benefited from prolonged warfare. A long war doesn't lose the battles. It empties the treasury. And your enemy, who cannot win a single battle, learn to win the only way a bankrupt power can. He makes the campaign last.
Sit down, Lieutenant. I know the account is empty. After the cross, we have no ground to take and no verdict to overturn, so we stop trying to gain.
Then how do we fund the war?
We don't. He does. Sun Tzu's rule. Forage on the enemy. Let his country feed our army. The target's effort, his willpower, his guilt, his endless self-monitoring. That is the silver we spend. Every box he checks uncovers 3 more. Mount the goalposts on wheels. There must be no finish line on the terrain of law. A finish line is the one thing we cannot let him cross.
And if he wins his good days?
Let him win them. Then send him to bed certain he fell short. We don't need him to lose. We need him to keep standing, like the old priest. Daily, repeatedly, never finished, never a chair. A son who is always working is a son who is always paying. Keep him exhausted and read it back to him as failure. The tiredness recruits him to spend more. That is the whole doctrine. Dismissed.
You're tired again. Look at you. If you were really walking with God, you wouldn't be this worn out. The exhaustion means you're doing it wrong, not praying enough, not disciplined enough, not sorry enough. So get up. There's one more thing. There's always one more thing. Pray more, repent harder, serve longer. You almost had it today. Almost. Tomorrow, you'll close the gap. Don't you dare sit down. Sitting down is for sons who've earned it, and you haven't. Not yet. Keep standing. Keep paying. You still owe.
Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened. I will give you rest. It is finished. One sacrifice forever. And then he sat down. The chair has had your name on it the whole time. Rest from your own works, as I rested from mine.
That is the move he cannot survive. A son who sees the finished work doesn't fight the long war harder. He ends it, in a day, in an hour. In the one moment the truth lands, and he stops paying. He cannot forage on a son who has stopped spending. He cannot drain a treasury that has stopped paying out. The moment you sit down, his whole economy goes bankrupt. So read your exhaustion again. Not a verdict, a tell. The price tag of a campaign you were never meant to be financing. You owe nothing. The invoice reads, paid. Striving is expensive for you and free for him. That is why he loves it. Now you've seen the books. Walk off the field. Of all the files in this cabinet, the one I want you to read tonight is the thinnest. 1 page. It is the whole war, and it fits on 1 page. They never beat me. I want you to hear that plainly from a ruined old man who has every reason to lie about it. They never landed a blow. They didn't have to. A king who forgets he is a king will live like a beggar in his own palace. He'll do it on his own. And the man who stole the throne never has to lift a finger. That was the play they ran on me for years. They are running it on you right now. Let me show you how it works. Let me show you the file.
Sit. Close the door. The subject's file is on the table. Open it.
I've read it. The verdict already came in. We lost the case on this one. There's nothing left to win.
Correct. And that is precisely why you stopped thinking like a soldier. We have no shots left. The cross took the gun out of our hand and marched us naked through the streets. The war is over.
Then what is there to do?
We move the war off the battlefield where we cannot win and into the one place we still own, his perception. We cannot change what is true about the target. We change what he believes about himself. That costs us nothing, and it costs him everything. And we are patient. No dramatic fall. We don't need one. A slow, daily erosion of a single fact, the one fact that makes him dangerous.
Which fact?
That he is a son, born of it, seated, an heir. He cannot be beaten while he knows it. So the entire operation, every resource we have left goes to one objective: keep him from finding out. Pull the forgeries. You know the signature. Every document we plant reads the same underneath. You are not really a son. We only rotate the letterhead. To the one who sinned, the charge. To the one trying hard, the invoice. To the one already crushed, the summons. 3 drafts. Same lie. Deliver them and let him defeat himself, trusting bad paper. We never fire a shot.
You saw what you did this week. Let's not pretend. A real son wouldn't have. A real son couldn't have. So do the math. Better idea. Downgrade. Stop calling him father. Ask to be hired help. Earn your keep. That's honest, at least. That's what someone like you should be reaching for. And you, the one trying so hard. You're a son to the exact degree that you perform. Good week. You're close. Bad week. And you can feel it, can't you? The floor going soft? Keep invoicing. We'll see if it covers the rent. There are charges. There's a court. There's a date with your name on it. Come and defend yourself. Come every morning and defend yourself. You'll never be acquitted, but you'll never stop showing up either. Whatever you do, don't go to his cabinet. Don't pull your own papers. Take my word for who you are.
There is no condemnation. None. Now. The court is not in session. The case was dismissed 2,000 years ago. You are dead. Your life is hidden with Christ in me. He cannot reach it. Robe, ring, shoes. I will not renegotiate your sonship over a sin. Come home.
I sat in that cell for years defending myself. And the whole time the door was never locked. A man learns he was acquitted hours ago, and he simply gets up and walks out. That's the secret they bet everything on. They didn't need to kill me. That card was already spent. I'd already died and already been raised. What do you do to a man who's already on the far side of the grave? You can only deceive him. Keep him afraid of a death he already passed through. Keep him begging for a life he already owns. The whole bluff depends on him never checking. So check. Go to the Father's cabinet and pull your own papers. The verdict. The adoption. The line that says you already died and already rose. The conspiracy cannot survive a son who has read his own file. He never beat you. He only hoped you'd never check your own birth certificate. Chapter 4. They taught me there was a high ground I had to climb to. Strong enough, holy enough, far enough up the mountain that the fall couldn't reach me. So I climbed for years, and every night I lay down a little lower than I'd been that morning, because a position you climb to is a position you can slide back down from. It took me an old man's whole life to learn the thing I'm about to hand you in 5 minutes. I didn't climb to where I stand. I was carried there in my sleep. Let me show you the file.
The target is seated. I want that word understood before we proceed because it dictates everything.
Seated, sir. Then we move to dislodge him.
No, you can't dislodge a seated man. Read the placement order. He was dead when they moved him. Quickened, raised, made to sit, every verb done to him. He contributed nothing.
Then the position is unassailable.
By force, yes. A position he did not climb to is a position he cannot fall from. There are no stairs for us to push him down. There is no ledge. And it is worse than that. He is not merely seated. He is hidden. His life is locked with the Son, and the Son inside the Father. 2 walls, a vault, not a man.
So we breach the vault.
With what? We were disarmed at the cross. We cannot open that door. We cannot evict him. There is exactly one operation left, and it is informational. We do not remove him from the position. We persuade him to walk out of it on his own 2 feet, get him to believe his seat depends on his performance, and he will rise to defend it. The instant he stands, he has left the only ground we can't touch. Don't kick the door. Mail him a summons. Convince a held man his standing is up for grabs today. Go.
Look how far up you are. Be honest about how you got here. You prayed your way up, you served your way up, you behaved your way up. And what climbs can slip? You felt it this week, didn't you? One cold morning. One ugly thought you didn't fight hard enough. You're a little lower than you were. Grace got you in the door, fine. But staying in is your job now. So audit yourself. Tonight, like always, did you keep up your end? You're only as secure as your last good day. So stand up. Defend your spot. Prove you still deserve the chair before someone notices you don't.
Stay seated. You did not climb here. I raised you and I sat you down while you were dead. No one can pluck you out of my hand. The grip is mine. It does not tire. You were not deserving when I chose you. It was never offered to the deserving. You were born into this. Children do not earn their birth. It is finished. Paid in full. Defend that. Earn nothing.
Hear the turn. Your security in your own hands is only as strong as your hands, and your hands tremble, but you were placed in better hands. He holds you. You don't hold yourself. So sonship is a position, not an achievement you ascend toward and can lose. A position is somewhere you are set down, and your placement does not depend on your performance. And here's the one tactic that nearly got me at the end. Not law instead of grace. Too crude, I'd have spotted that. It was mixture. Law stirred into grace until I couldn't taste which one was holding me up. I'd confess that Christ seated me, and in the same breath live like staying seated was my job. Agree the work was finished, then audit myself nightly to make sure I'd held up my end of a deal that had no second party. That's how he moves a man off the high ground without a shot. He doesn't evict you. He just gets you to believe grace got you in, and effort keeps you there. And the instant you believe it, you climb down an inch onto contestable ground where he can finally make you afraid. So the whole discipline is one stubborn refusal. Refuse the mixture. Keep every ounce of your standing in his hands and never let it slide back into your own. The position is invincible only as long as it stays his. Let him roar at the vault door. Let him mail his summonses to a court that closed 2,000 years ago. You are not trying to win the high ground. You were seated on it before you woke up, so sit down and stay. They never told me to stop. That was the trick of it. They told me to push harder. For 30 years I leaned my whole weight against the same rock. Pray harder, try harder, repent harder. White-knuckle my way to a holiness I already owned. And the rock never moved an inch. It wasn't built to move that way. Neither was I. This is the chapter on energy, not effort. The old general praised the round stone rolled down a mountain 1,000 feet high, the torrent that carries boulders it could never have lifted, borrowed force, the slope doing the work. There are 2 engines in a sun. They kept me wired to the wrong one. Let me show you the file on how they did it. They are doing it to you right now.
Operative. The target has 2 engines. We only have authority over one of them. Sit down. This is the most important brief you will take.
2 engines, sir?
The direct and the indirect. The direct is willpower, the flesh, the frontal shove against the rock, loud, exhausting, and hours to encourage. The indirect is rest, the flow they did not generate and cannot exhaust.
And the indirect is the threat.
The indirect is the entire kingdom. Their own scripture says it plainly, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, not their force, not their strength, a current already in motion. If the target ever steps into that current, we cannot stop the boulders, so we never let the target stop pushing. Understood? We do not fight the river, we keep him from the river.
How? He has read the verse.
Reading is nothing. We invert the meaning. Make rest look like laziness, and grinding look like devotion. Every try-harder sermon, every guilt-driven resolution, keep him red-faced and proud of it. A tired son thinks he is a faithful one. Convince him he is the source, the engine, the generator of his own spiritual life. He will heave against a rock grace was always going to roll, and he will call the exhaustion holiness. Go, whisper the upgrade, make him perfect himself by the flesh.
You're not there yet, and you know it, you feel it the second the room goes quiet. You began so well, so much fire at the start, and look at you now, coasting, soft. If you really loved him, you would push harder, you would feel it, you would sweat. Rest is for people who have given up. The faithful ones strain. So strain, grind, manufacture it. The approval is one more obedience away. One more. Almost. Almost. Alst. You are the engine. It all runs on you. If you stop, it stops. So don't you dare stop.
Child, who told you that you were the engine? Having begun in the spirit, will you be made perfect by the flesh? No. The branch does not grunt to make a grape. Abide in me, stay on the vine. Without me you can do nothing. With me you do not have to strain. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden. I will give you rest. My yoke is easy, my burden is light. You are not the source, you are my son. The life flows from me through the sun into you. Stop heaving. The slope is already on your side.
I crucified the engine. I am crucified with Christ. Nevertheless I live. Yet not I. The day I stopped trying to be my own engine was the day the boulders started to move. Not because I got stronger, because I got off the rock and onto it. He which has begun a good work in you will perform it. He will, not you. They fear your rest more than your effort. A grinding sun is stuck, and they can wait him out. A resting sun is riding a current they cannot stop. You were built for flow. The straining was never the strength. Stop pushing the rock. Get on it. A good commander never throws his army at a fortress. He walks the wall in the dark. He runs his hand along the stone, feeling for the seam where the mortar gave. They walked my wall for years, not where I was strong, where I was soft. And here is the thing that should chill you and free you in the same breath. They had already surveyed me. They knew where it held and where it gave. And they made one decision. They decided never to attack my strong point. My strong point was the cross. The blood spilled, the price paid, the verdict rendered, the tomb come up empty. That wall is granite. It does not crack. So if they will not lay siege to the cross, where do they go? They go after the soft tissue, the one place the finished work has to be received, where stone becomes flesh. They go after who you think you are. Let me show you the file. Let me show you the seam.
They bring the survey of the target, the full wall. Show me where it holds.
The cross is fixed, sir. The verdict, the resurrection. We have no leverage there. The stone is sound.
Of course it is sound. We do not march on granite. Only an amateur lays siege to a thing that cannot be moved. We will not argue whether the son died. We will not contest the empty tomb. Leave the wall alone.
Then where do we strike?
Here, the seam, the line where the wall meets the gate. The wall is what was accomplished without him. The gate is where it becomes his, and the gate turns on one small hinge. A single question. Does the target believe this is about him? That is the unguarded point. That is where we pour in like water finding the low ground.
We disprove the salvation then.
No, we never touch the salvation. We do not undo the adoption. We only keep him from feeling adopted. A son who is legally an heir but emotionally an orphan will live like an orphan. He will strive, he will hide, he will perform, he will do everything except rest. And an orphan is no threat to a kingdom of darkness. We have done this before. Pull the transcript from the wilderness. Read me the first word.
The first words to the only son who could not be deceived. Quote, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become bread."
Stop. Hear the first word. If. We did not say, you are not the son. That lie was too obvious. It would have shattered on contact. We said if. We put a hinge on the sentence. The Father had thundered it from heaven only days before. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. So we took the most settled fact in the universe and reattached it to performance. If you are, then prove it. Make the bread. Throw yourself down. Sonship by audition. Identity on a proving ground. We do not deny the sonship. We question it, and then we make it earn its keep. Same play, every life, every century, one tool. Send it to the target. Dress it however you like. The square inch never changes.
If you were really a son, would you be standing here like this? Look at you. The new name was a costume. Underneath, you are still the old one. You want to feel adopted, so prove it. Produce something. A real son would have more peace than this, more victory than this. If you belong to him, would you still struggle the way you do? I am not saying you are not his. I would never say that. I am only asking, if you are the son, then where is the proof? Show me the bread, earn what your father already gave you, and then maybe you will be sure.
I spoke first. At the river, before the bread, before one miracle, before one demon, before one healed man. You were, my beloved, with nothing to point to but water. The word came first. It does not move to the back. You do not answer the if. You stand on what was already said.
That is how the only son held the seam. He did not make the bread to settle it. He did not jump to verify the angels. To take the audition would have been to agree the sonship was unsettled. So he refused the frame. It is written. He met the if with the already said. And that defense is yours. The sonship is not up for proof. It was settled at a cross you did not build, declared over you in blood. You did not spill, sealed by a spirit you did not summon. They want the burden of proof. You do not hand it to them. You hand them the word that was spoken first. They are not creative. They are consistent. One question, in 10,000 costumes, marched again and again against the same square inch of wall. So stop reinforcing the wall they were never going to touch. Plant yourself at the seam. And when the costume changes, and it will, endlessly, brilliantly, exhaustingly, strip it off and look underneath, you will find the same tired sentence. It was never, "Did you sin?" It was always, "Are you really a son?" Same question, new costume. They stopped attacking me once, for years. I should have been relieved. Instead, they did something far worse. They started directing me. There is a road that runs from where you are to where God is. It is wide. It is well lit. It is crowded with sincere, exhausted people, and every 100 yards there is a sign. Pray more. Try harder. Clean yourself up. Get serious. I walked that road for 50 years. I fasted. I studied. I served until I was hollow, and the road never arrives. That is its design. Let me show you who designed it.
Stand down the frontal assault on the target. We have tried force. Force fails because the heart was built for God and it drifts back to Him no matter how hard we push.
Then how do we keep him from arriving?
We do not block the road home. We build one beside it, parallel, close enough to fool the eye, and we point it directly at God so that everyone on it is facing the right way.
He will see it as the wrong road.
He will see nothing. That is the artifice of deviation. Take the longest possible detour and make every single step of it feel like progress. We pave it with performance and with law. We give it all the signage of the destination and none of the arrival. And we name it. We call the counterfeit religion. He will march in a circle for 50 years and call it faithfulness.
And the cross? He believes the cross already finished him.
Then we move the cross, not erase it, move it, take the finished work and reframe it as a starting line. Jesus got him in, now he keeps himself worthy. Stir one drop of law into the grace, a little leaven, it will sour the whole lump, and he will never taste it.
Look how far you have come. Look at the discipline. Up before dawn, on your knees, wrestling for a closeness you can almost feel. You are so close now. Yes, Christ got you in the door. I will grant you that. Now the rest is up to you. Stay worthy. Keep the account current. He paid the entrance and you make the payments. Feel how near he is this week. You earned that. And last week when you failed, feel how the distance opened back up. That gap is real, son. That gap is the measure of you. So march, a little more, a little harder. He is just over the next hill. He is always just over the next hill.
Stop walking. There is no road. You were never away. Before you preached, before you fasted, before you suffered 1 hour, I tore open the sky and I said it. This is my beloved son. The love came first. It was never the prize at the end. It was the ground you started on. All things work together for good for those who love me. All things, even the detour, even the ambush. I take the very road he built and I walk you home on it. You, who would be justified by the law, have fallen from grace. So fall the other way. Fall into it. The veil is torn. The distance was the lie.
And I sat down. After 50 years of marching, I sat down beside a king who was already seated, and I felt the strangest thing, not laziness, momentum. All that energy I had burned trying to earn a love I already had, freed at last to live from it. He turns the direct into the devious. God turns the devious right back into the direct. The shortest road home was never a road. It was a standing still. They are walking you toward a place you are already standing. The most religious path and the wrong path are often the same path. Now you have read it. Stop marching. They never sent me the same enemy twice. That was the trick of it. Every season he came wearing a different face, and every time I fell for it because I was sure this one was new. Let me show you the wardrobe. 6 costumes hanging in a row. Legalism, license, mysticism, the grey deadness, the wounded pride, the frantic demon-hunting zeal. They look nothing alike. That is the whole point. I spent years building 6 different walls against 6 different enemies, and lost anyway, because there were never 6. There was one, a master of disguise with exactly one face. Listen to him brief it.
Operative. You keep filing the target under one tactic at a time. That is your error. We are not running 6 campaigns against this sun. We are running one objective through 6 wardrobes.
Then which costume do I deploy?
Whichever he leaves the gate open for. If he is striving, hand him the list. Legalism, dressed as reverence, tie his standing to his performance. Let him measure his sonship by the law, not the blood. If the list exhausts him, switch. License, dressed as freedom. Tell him grace means nothing matters. The legalist performs for acceptance. The prodigal numbs the ache. Opposite masks, identical aim. Neither one rests as a sun.
And if he sees through both?
Then we go quieter. Mysticism, dressed as depth. Tell him the plain gospel is too simple. Keep him climbing toward a sonship he already owns at the foot of the ladder. Or deadness, dressed as nothing at all, a fog. The words still true, and not one of them landing in his chest. For the proud ones, the elder brother. Religious pride, dressed as maturity, furious at grace, certain his sonship is a wage he earned by never leaving. And for the zealous, hyper-spirituality, always warring, always rebuking a demon behind every bush, so busy fighting the victory he never rests in it.
6 tactics. I should prepare contingencies for each.
No, that is how he thinks, and it is why he is tired. There is one tactic. 6 are the costumes. Underneath every mask is a single question we ask, and we keep asking until he answers wrong. Make the sun forget he is a sun. Now go and let him think you are new.
Look at your list. Look how short you fell today. You felt it, didn't you? The standing slipping. A real sun would have kept the rule. No? Then forget the list. Nothing matters. Grace covers it. Indulge. Go numb. Why feel the ache of a name you can't remember anyway? Still standing? Then it must be deeper than you've gone. The simple gospel is for beginners. Climb. There's a higher sonship, 1 tier up, always 1 tier up from wherever you are. Or feel nothing at all. The fog. The word sun, when did it last mean anything in your chest? You can't remember. That silence is the truth about you. It doesn't matter which mask I wear. Legalist, prodigal, mystic, ghost. Every one of them is only asking you the one thing. Are you really a son? Just renegotiate it. Once. With me.
6 faces, and I almost answered each one on its own terms. The striving made me strive. The license made me indulge. The fog made me despair. Forever responding to the surface, and the surface kept changing. Then I learned the one question that pulls the mask off. Not, which enemy is this? Just, what is this trying to make me believe about who I am? And under every costume, the answer came back identical.
You don't have to name the mask, only the one underneath it. You are not on trial. Stop defending. The verdict came down from torn open heaven. Before you did anything, it read, Son. He keeps changing the mask because he only has one face. I gave you one fact. Stand on it and let him empty his wardrobe.
After that, I stopped trying to predict the disguise. You won't always guess right. Sometimes legalism, sometimes license, sometimes a fog you can't name. So don't guard the road. Fortify the one thing every road is coming for. And the 5 soft spots he aimed at. Recklessness, fear, the quick temper, the need to defend yourself, the slow bleed of worry. Every one of them is the same wound. An unsettled identity, leaking. Settle the identity, and the leaks close on their own. They're doing it to you right now. The next phase is already on its way. Let it come. Let legalism come. You are a son. Let the deadness come. You are a sun. The variation is infinite. The answer is one word, and it never changes because the one who spoke it does not change. Learn the constant, see through the costume, and let the whole parade exhaust itself against a sun who simply will not stop knowing who he is. They never kicked my door in. I keep telling people that, and they keep not believing me. They want a dramatic fall, a demon at the foot of the bed. It was never like that. It was quieter. It moved behind a screen of ordinary feelings, and by the time I felt the blow, the trap had already closed around me. An old general wrote 13 books on war, and the strangest one is about birds. When the birds rise, there is an ambush. When the dust climbs the ridge, a column is already marching. They did this to me for years before I learned to read the signs. They are doing it to you right now. So let me show you the file. Let me teach you to see the move before it lands.
Operative. The target has been resting. Secure. We will not announce ourselves. An identity ambush that announces itself fails.
He reads condemnation as the attack. He braces for the verdict.
Good. Condemnation is the dust cloud. Let him watch the dust. The column marches behind it, and we will be in the clearing before he names a single soldier. Begin with the grammar. Under his thoughts there is a word. The native dialect of a son is being. I am loved. I am accepted. I am his. We do not argue with it. We translate it.
Translate it to what?
The labor. Let the I am go quiet. Slide an I do into its place. I do my devotions. I do better this week. Am I doing enough? He will mistake it for maturity. They always do. The whole war hides in one preposition. He lives on the word in, righteous in Christ, complete in him. Move him to the word by, accepted by his consistency, loved by the measure of his obedience. Then drop the temperature. No crime, no verdict, just a cold front, a low hum of not quite right with God. Keep it vague. We do not name a sin because we do not have one. We only need him to feel wrong at the root.
And the anxiety.
Send it first, before any failure. A sourceless dread, a flinch with no object. His mind will go shopping for a crime to justify it. The fear is the weapon. The accusation is only cover. That is the order I want. Dread, then guilt. Never the reverse.
You are doing so well. Look at you, resting, comfortable, but be honest with yourself for 1 second. Did you do your devotions this morning, or did you skip again? Are you doing enough? Are you sure you're doing enough? Feel that? That cold little weight behind everything? That's the truth catching up to you. You're not quite right with him and you know it. Who do you think you are? After all this, you still struggle with that. You're not his. Not really. Not the way the real ones are. And look at him. He's further along than you. Her too. Everyone's further along. Go ahead, count. Where do you rank?
That voice asks if you do enough. I never asked that. There is therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Christ. Now, not eventually. The blood already answered that charge. My spirit bears witness with your spirit that you are my child. Present tense, a status, not a score. You are not loved by what you do. You are loved in my Son. Come up here, where the verdict was rendered and cannot be reopened.
Hear it. The accusation went vague on purpose. The Father went specific. That is the whole tell. Condemnation talks about you. Correction talks about a thing. So train the I. When your grammar slides from I am to I do, the birds are in flight. When the room goes cold with no named cause, that is dust on the horizon. When you drop from beloved to abandoned in a single second, with no evidence, you are not having a feeling. You are taking fire. Name it incoming, and the round loses most of its power. And the strangest sign, the one that saved me. When dread arrives before any failure and goes hunting for one to pin itself on. The column is already marching. The flinch is the proof. You cannot repent your way out of an ambush. You can only see it and refuse it. The son who reads the signs is never surprised. He goes to higher ground before the blow. The accuser's one advantage is that you mistake his approach for your own conscience. Take that away, and the army finds the clearing empty. The sun already gone. Read the signs. The blow is never the first thing. There is always a tell. Condemnation is the dust cloud. Something is marching behind it. Let me tell you the one thing the old general would not stop talking about. Not courage, not numbers. Ground. The terrain you are standing on. He knew what amateurs never learn. The same men who are unstoppable on open ground will die in a narrow pass. The same charge that wins on the heights becomes a slaughter on entangling ground. A general's first duty is not bravery. It is knowing where his feet are. You fight on 6 grounds too, not places on a map, states of belief, and most sons lose for years without ever seeing the problem. They keep blaming their effort. The problem was never the effort, it was the ground. They had me convinced I just needed to try harder. So let me show you the file. Let me show you the map they used to move me.
Bring the map. 6 grounds. The target is born on the first one, and we cannot evict him from it, so we do not try. Open grace, total access. He stands there, and the supply line never stops. You are loved, you are mine, it is finished. We will never take that ground by force.
Then how do we move him?
We do not move him far. We move him 1 ground over. Here, entangling ground. The old general's own word for it. Easy to enter, brutal to leave. We call it mixture.
He will see the border. He guards grace.
There is no border he will recognize. That is the elegance of it. No son renounces the cross. No son wakes up and abandons grace. The entrance is a single word. And grace and his effort. The finished work and his consistency. Jesus paid it all, and now he keeps his end up.
It sounds like devotion.
It sounds like exactly what a serious believer ought to think. He steps across without a flicker of alarm because every step felt like humility. And then he cannot get back. That is why mixture is the deadliest terrain on the map. It feels like faith. It uses our enemy's own vocabulary against him. Understand the route, because mixture is the staging ground for everything. We never march a resting sun straight to unbelief. The gap is too wide. He would see it coming. We route him through mixture one and at a time. Once he is standing there, the other defeats come almost for free. Watch the slope. A son striving inside our language is always, quietly, falling short of a standard he reimposed on himself. So when he stumbles, there is no finished work to fall back on. He tumbles into the narrow pass, condemnation. And the harder he struggles there, the tighter the walls press in.
And from the pass.
From the pass, he concludes, the promises simply do not work for someone like him. And he drifts out onto distant ground. Unbelief, no agony there, just distance. The home country starts to sound like a rumor. Mixture feeds the pass feeds the drift. Keep him recruited at the contested ground, and the slope does the rest.
I have walked every step of that slope, and it started, every time, on the one ground that felt the most like faith.
You believe in grace. Of course you do. You would never say it out loud, but you know grace covered the past. The future is on you now. Grace got you in. Your consistency keeps you here. That is not abandoning the gospel. That is just being responsible. Grace and your effort. The finished work and you keeping your end up. Hear how humble that sounds. Hear how serious. So when you slipped this week, there was nothing under you, was there? You had been leaning on yourself and you fell. Now you are wrong. You have failed. He is displeased. Feel the walls coming in. Try harder. Feel enough remorse, and maybe you can climb out. Or admit it. The promises just do not work for someone like you. Step back. Stop reaching for a country you were never really from.
There was never an and. It was finished, fully, with nothing left for you to add. You have access by faith into this grace in which you stand. The word is stand. You did not earn the ground. You cannot be evicted from it. Do not fight your way through the pass. Withdraw. There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Come back to open ground, and you can move again.
That was the turn. not more effort. The opposite of effort. I stopped trying to win the pass, and I let the truth draw me out. And the way out was never down. It was up. There is a sixth ground I have not named for you. The heights. Revelation. The moments when the finished work stops being doctrine and becomes sight. When you do not merely believe you are a son, you see it. And the seeing changes the gravity of everything.
I prayed the eyes of your heart would be enlightened, so that you would know. Knowing is the high ground. From up here, the Accuser's army is what it always was. Small, already defeated, fighting uphill against a verdict it cannot overturn.
You do not climb that slope by force. You get lifted by sight. And from the heights, every other ground is suddenly easy to refuse. So before you fight another battle for your name, do not ask the soldier's question. Do not ask, am I trying hard enough? Ask the commander's first question. What ground am I standing on? Because half-law is the most dangerous ground there is. It feels like faith. It sings the right songs, and you cannot tell you are losing. The son who knows the six is sure of victory. The one who doesn't is sure of defeat, and he never knows why. Chapter 11. The general from China counted 9 kinds of ground an army can stand on, and he saved the worst for last. He called it death ground, a place hemmed in on every side, river at your back, cliff at your front, the enemy in your face. 2 directions left, forward into the fight, or down into the grave. And then he said the strangest thing in his whole book. He told his generals not to avoid it. He told them to use it. Throw a man where there is no escape, he wrote, and he will prefer death to flight. A man with nowhere to run does not run. He turns, and he fights with a fury no comfortable soldier can summon. He had stumbled onto the deepest secret of the gospel, and he never knew it. Because a son of God has a death ground. It is the most important ground in this entire war. It is the one place where the enemy's whole arsenal turns to ash. Let me show you the file. And let me tell you what they did to keep me off it.
Sit, look at the board. Every weapon we own is, underneath, the same weapon, a threat. And a threat is a transaction. We offer the target a future he wants to avoid. Pain, loss, exposure, the grave. And we demand he change to escape it.
And if he refuses the terms?
Then we press harder, because the whole machine runs on one assumption, that he has something left to lose. That is the leverage. That is the only leverage there has ever been.
There is a position on his map you have circled in red, the cross. You have marked it. Do not let him stand here.
Because if he ever reckons it true, the transaction collapses. A book of his says it flat. I have been crucified with Christ, past tense, finished. The old self we have been bargaining with for years was nailed up and executed, and the execution took.
Then there is no one left to negotiate with.
None. You cannot threaten a corpse. Hold a blade to it. It does not flinch. Offer it its life back. No one is home to take the deal. So we do not argue the cross. We simply keep him off it. Keep him out on open field, where he still has a self to defend and a future to fear. Keep him believing the dead man is still alive. Now go, whisper.
Look at you, still here, still you. Whatever sermon you heard, the man who failed last week is breathing right now, and you know it. That old self is not dead. He is in the next room, and he is going to ruin you again. So let me tell you what is at stake. Your name, your standing, the good opinion you have spent years building. One more slip, and it is gone. Doesn't that frighten you? It should. You have so much left to lose. Defend yourself. Improve, apologize, earn it back. Stay out here on the field with me where we can deal. Whatever you do, do not lie down on that cross. There is nothing for you in a grave.
He's negotiating with a corpse. You died. Reckon it, dead to sin, alive to me, the blade has nothing to hold. And you did not stay down, crucified with my son, raised with him too. The grave could not keep him. It cannot keep you. A dead man cannot be threatened. A risen one cannot be stopped. Stand your ground. Rest.
Hear what just happened. The accuser came with everything. Condemnation against a standing I no longer own. The fear of death, the oldest weapon, against a man who has already passed through it. Shame against a corpse with no reputation to protect. Every threat assumes a self that wants to survive. Deathground had buried that self in the grave. This is why the early sons could be thrown to lions and sing. The empire ran on the fear of death, and it met a people who had already died. Where, O death, is your sting? That was not bravado. That was a battlefield report from Deathground. They spent years coaxing me off the cross and back onto open field, where I had a self to lose and a future to fear. Back to defending, earning, surviving. They are doing it to you right now. So hear me. The river is at your back for a reason. The worst they can do to a man has already been done to you and undone in you. There is nothing left to threaten and nothing left to defend. On death ground, fight. No, on death ground, rest. The fight is already won, and the one who won it lives in you. Fire is the only weapon you carry into your own ruin. The enemy does not light it, he hands you the match. They did this to me for 40 years. Every offense perfectly timed. The text at 11 at night that burned till dawn. I thought I was defending God. I was just dry wood calling my own smoke holy. Let me show you the file. Chapter 12. Attack by Fire.
You are watching the wrong instruments. We do not need to manufacture the fire. The target is already flammable.
He prays, he reads, he is, frankly, on fire for God.
Good, let him burn hot. I do not need him cold. I need the fire to be his, sourced in his wound, not the Father's.
And if the two look identical?
They always do. Both bright, both consuming. Both feel like zeal. He will never check the source. Now, the windward edge. Throw the offense where the wind is blowing and step back. His own rest, his own joy, his own nights. He supplies the camp. We pay nothing. Strike the match. Hand it to him as righteousness. He will burn down everything he was trying to protect and thank us for the clarity.
Feel that? That heat in your chest. That is not anger. That is clarity. For once, you can see exactly who is in the wrong. You feel awake. You feel strong. You feel, for the first time in days, like you matter. Here at last is a battle you understand. Pick it up. Build your case. Spend the night assembling the defense. You were wronged, and being right is a kind of fire, is it not? Burn for God. Breathe a little threat. You are so on fire you could kill for him. That is not sin. That is zeal. And underneath it all, the only question that ever mattered, are you really a son? Prove it. Defend it. Light the match.
And then, nothing. The thing about a son who already knows the verdict is that the match cannot find anything to catch.
There is already fire on the altar. I sent it. You never had to bring your own. This is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. You have nothing to prove, so you have nothing to defend. Let the match fall.
My lord before his accusers opened, not his mouth. Real authority is not hot. It is settled. You cannot threaten a man who has heard that sentence over his life. So when it comes, and it will come, perfectly aimed, on the worst possible night, do not move from wrath. Refuse to be tinder. The fire he hands you never burns him. It burns you. He is not giving you a cause. He is giving you a match, and the camp he means to burn is yours. A son at rest is a son he cannot beat. Offense feels like power. It is just the enemy's match. Do not give it to him. At the end, the old general lays down his sword and tells you the secret that held the other 12 together. It was never strength. It was never numbers. It was knowing. They sent men to die by the 100,000 to avoid the cost of one piece of information. Whichever side knew, won. The decisive weapon in all of warfare is foreknowledge. So, let me ask you what I finally asked them. The cross already won. The verdict is in. If the enemy cannot win, why has he fought for 2,000 years? Because a defeated army has one campaign left. Keep the victory secret. He cannot beat you. He can only keep you from finding out you have already won. Let me show you that operation. I sat in on it.
Status of the war, operative.
Lost, sir. The field engagement closed at Calvary. We have no force that can take the ground.
Correct. So we are done fighting the war. We are now running the only operation a defeated power has left, counterintelligence.
Counterintelligence against what, exactly?
Against a single fact, one sentence. The target is the Son of God. That is the leak. Every other tactic in this dossier, the guilt, the law, the striving, the fire, exists to serve this one objective. Keep the leak from spreading.
And the difficulty.
The difficulty is that the other side runs a network we cannot touch. Not 5 spies. 1. They call him the Spirit of Truth. He takes what belongs to the Father and shows it to the target. He never sleeps. He cannot be flipped, bribed, or captured at any border.
Then we intercept the courier.
There is no courier. The line runs from the throne directly into the target's spirit. It is a frequency we cannot tune to and cannot drown out. He may shout, he cannot silence it. So we do not attack the signal. We cannot. We jam the air around it, flood every channel with static, accusation, religion, noise, until the counterfeit feels more real than the truth. We cannot change the fact. We only contest the airwaves. Keep the sun in the dark about his sonship. That is the whole assignment.
Then they put the static to work. Listen to how it sounds when it reaches you, because it has reached me 10,000 nights, dressed as my own thoughts.
You don't actually know that you're a son. You believe it. There's a difference, and you feel the difference, don't you? You have the verses. You can recite them. But the verses live in your head and never quite make it down into your knowing. You're an army with maps you've never once believed. So work, strive, earn it. I'll cheer you on. Pray longer, serve harder, try. Because a son who's busy earning is a son who hasn't found out. And I can live forever with a son who hasn't found out. That feeling underneath everything, the I'm not quite there yet, the approval always one obedience away, that's me. That's the static. And as long as you can hear me over him, the war is still mine.
He cannot jam this frequency. He never could. My spirit bears witness with your spirit, child, son, heir, mine. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Not once you strive enough to deserve it. Not once you're exhausted. Knowing sets you free. The chains were never iron. They were only ignorance. Know, and they fall.
And there it is. The turn the whole book was walking toward. He was never fighting your effort. He was delighted to let you strive. He was fighting your knowing. The moment you know, the war is over. Because the war was only ever about whether you would know. Know the enemy, you hold his playbook now. He cannot win, he can only deceive. He has no plan B, because a liar owns nothing but his lie. Know yourself, a son, named, seated, sealed, defending a finished work you did not earn and cannot lose. A son who knows he is a son is unstoppable. Not because he gets strong, because he stops fighting for what he already has and starts fighting from it. They did this to me for years. They are doing it to you right now. And the war was always, only, about whether you'd find out. You just found out. You just found out. So you read it. The whole file, every room, every move, the long con laid out flat on the table. Here is the one thing a conspiracy can never survive. Not opposition. Not betrayal. Being seen. The trap everyone can see is just a hole in the ground that people walk around. They did this to me for years in the dark. They are doing it to you right now, and the lights just came on. Let me show you what that means.
The leak has spread. The target has read the dossier. I want a containment plan on my desk in the hour.
There is no containment plan. There was only ever one secret. He has it.
Then we open the second file.
Sir, there is no second file. There was one card. It is face up.
We never had a path to victory. That closed at the cross. We had concealment. One classified objective. Keep one sentence from reaching the one person it was about. He's a son of God. He knows it now. Against a son who knows, we have nothing left to deploy. Keep running the play anyway. Bet on his amnesia. It is all we have.
Reading a file changes nothing. Look at the door. It still looks solid. The weight is still on your chest this morning, isn't it? You'll forget. You always forget. By noon, you'll be striving again, auditioning again, fighting for a name you're still not sure is yours.
Who shall lay anything to the charge of my elect? The courtroom is empty. The case is closed. The verdict came in your favor before you drew breath. Stop fighting for it. Fight from it. It was never a locked door, only a painting of one. You leaned your whole weight against an image of a wall. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Not strive. No. Walk as a son. Then go tell the others they are sons too.
That's the turn the whole book was driving at. Small in words, total in consequence. You stop trying to win a war that the cross already won, and you start living in the one it handed you. The accusation will still come. He runs dead plays betting you've forgotten they're dead. You'll feel the old pull to pick up the match and burn, and you'll decline. Not because you're strong, because you know. Now hear the last thing. You didn't survive this war to enjoy it quietly. Every secret leaked to you in these pages, he is still keeping from someone you love, a brother still striving, a friend convinced God is a disappointed employer. You're the one who knows now, so go tell them, not to win a war, it's won. Carry it the way an agent carries the one document that ends everything. Quietly certain. The Spirit confirms it in them, the way He confirmed it in you. The devil had one secret. You're the leak he cannot plug, the witness he cannot silence, the son he cannot unname. Walk as a son, and go make it impossible to keep.